Hi, my love. Welcome to your weekly forecast for the week of March 2nd to the 9th, 2025. This week doesn't have a ton of highlights in terms of transits or startings and endings, but there is a lot happening in the astrology right now. So let's just recap where we're at. We're moving into the first full week of Venus retrograde, and next week we start the first eclipse season of the year. And Mercury also turns retrograde. So this week, we have a chance to ground into the energies and themes of March, which will intensify next week. But the highlight of this week, though, is Mercury moving into Aries, where Venus also is retrograde. So any reflection or reevaluation that started last week can begin to deepen, and we can start acting on, or at least figuring out what changes we'd really like to make this spring. So let's get into the highlights of the week. On Monday, Mercury enters Aries until March 29th. So Mercury is in shadow, and it will turn retrograde on March 15th. So while we aren't really moving forward, we do have the energy to take action starting on Monday. With both Venus and Mercury in cardinal fire sign Aries, we can find the energy, passion, and maybe audacity to take some bold experimental actions and start trying new ways now. This is our time to re-envision our lives and realign with our values, which takes time, and it also takes energy. So if you've been feeling like things are just not working, this week can provide helpful reframes and new perspectives, which can lead to new discoveries. Mercury in Aries can just help us to get in the right headspace and maybe start to reclaim our hero's journey, or at least our self-talk. Now, we want to pay attention to the new ideas that come through this week, or the themes and topics that start coming up in conversation, because they're going to become a key part of next week. And ultimately, they could end up becoming a key part of the entire year. When Mercury turns retrograde in Aries next week, we'll be right in the middle of eclipse season, a time when fate steps in. The month of March is really leading all the way to the last eclipse in Aries on March 29th. And the day after that eclipse, Neptune enters Aries. So major endings and major beginnings are happening this month in Aries. And this week, we can start to get perspective on the upgrades that spring is asking us to make. Now on Saturday, the sun forms a trine to Mars, and the weekend can help us to arrive at maybe a sense of acceptance or some forgiveness. The sun is in Pisces and Mars is in Cancer, now direct. I don't see this trine as super motivated or action-oriented, as it is helpful for processing emotions, maybe arriving at realizations, maybe around what something meant or what we will make something mean. This trine could be supportive for that. But the weekend is really when we start gearing up for eclipse season, with the lunar eclipse in Virgo arriving in the middle of next week. And so by the weekend, the moon is waxing and energy is building, and we can start to feel like things are being rearranged behind the scenes, because that's what the really energy of eclipse season is all about. Eclipse seasons are unpredictable and destabilizing, but they can also bring miracles, revelations, quantum leaps. And by the weekend, we could even start to see some. Now next week, Mercury will conjoin Venus, the sun will conjoin Saturn, Mercury will turn retrograde, and we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo, and we are officially into eclipse season. And now, let us pull some cards for the week of March 2nd to the 9th, 2025. A week that finds us right in the middle of some key transits and activations. And with Mercury moving into Aries, we can really start to get our head in the game and start to find maybe new reserves of power inside of ourselves. The Four of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. And on the root of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands. Boundaries are being tweaked and reformulated. Processes and systems are being reimagined. The Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles shows us rethinking how we're doing our work and what it means for us to make progress and stay organized and keep going. It feels like this is a very kind of a week to do the work that Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde are really asking us to do, to notice where things are not working, where things just need to fall apart. What if we just let something fall apart? What then? If we maybe allowed something to fall apart that we've maybe been trying to tape together and band-aid together and stick together, maybe our energy could shift and we could actually find some new source of energy. Maybe we could actually allow ourselves to let go and receive. The Six of Cups is so much about receiving something easy to receive, sweet, supportive, nourishing, fuel, simplicity. We want to really be mindful of how present we are as we're moving around this week and how soft we are. The Nine of Wands shows this kind of energy of defensiveness, this Mars and Cancer kind of clinging, maybe grasping to our boundaries and tension, their shoulders right up by your ears. Let go of any tension that you might be carrying. And maybe even, give yourself some grace and take time to really consider, like, what is this tension about? What am I afraid of? If you're feeling that way, if you're feeling like things are not working, this week can help us to find new ways, but it's not going to start by white knuckling. It's not going to come by forcing, pushing. The Six of Cups is this beautiful energy of sweetness, kind of nostalgia, reconnecting to the past in a way that's helpful. This feels like a gift of Venus retrograde, something maybe we could remember, something that we loved as a kid, or remember why we started, or go back to a place where we used to find a lot of power. This week can deliver some really interesting, nourishing, simple pleasures that actually give back to us a lot and help us to breathe new life into whatever we need to breathe new life into. The Eight of Pentacles shows this energy of forward momentum and repetition, consistency, dedication, one foot in front of the other. The Four of Pentacles is about boundaries and kind of sequestering ourselves maybe on our own plane, our own kind of landscape here. I don't know, it feels like this is a week to keep it simple, that's for sure. Yeah. I don't know, maybe there's something that we don't need to do alone anymore. Maybe we can acknowledge that we don't need to keep doing something alone. We don't need to stay alone in our thinking, that we're not actually alone. Feeling alone is an illusion. There are people around us who want to give to us. Six of Cups. What if you knew that? What if you expected, what if you anticipated that things would be easy? It's an interesting question to consider while Venus is retrograde in Aries. What if you were to anticipate that this month would actually be amazing, and that the eclipses that come through are going to open doors that you have been waiting to open for so long, and really closing doors and being able to move away from old paths that you have been trying to get away from? What if you knew with full certainty in your heart and mind that you are moving forward towards an easier way of being, a more aligned way, a way where things make sense to you? It's like this just natural evolution coming through. We have the Magician as our last card. You have the power. You have the power to create a vision into reality. And our belief in ourselves is the key. It's the key. We are the key. We are the missing piece. We need to really believe in ourselves. We need to love ourselves. We need to stick with ourselves. We need to give ourselves what we need in order to make happen what we want to make happen. Like the Magician needs time and space to be clear on the vision and get clear on like how they can get their mind fully in the game, right? If the Magician doesn't believe that they can make spells work, then what good are the tools that they're using? Then what good are the inspired ideas that they get? If they don't believe in their own skills and their own wisdom and just ability, nothing can be created. So where could you just give yourself a little bit of a self-talk upgrade this week and heed the call of Venus retrograde in Aries, which is all about reconnecting with just self-worth, right? Self-worth. Valuing yourself highly. Valuing your time. Valuing your energy. Valuing your heart and your creative gifts. There is no one in the world like you. And that is really special. So this week is like, it's all up to us. And on one hand, that can feel overwhelming and terrifying and heavy and confusing. But it could also feel freeing and liberating. The Magician is a very creative energy. And so we can't tap into that boundless creativity and beautiful, genius new ideas if we're trying to stay locked into a certain routine and structure and system. We want to find better ways. We want to find more inspiration in our day, for example. How can you believe in yourself? How can you believe in yourself? What do you need? That is what I have for you this week, my love. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have a magical week ahead, and I will talk to you next week.